Hi, welcome to today's class. Hope you're all keeping well and staying safe. In the previous two videos, we discussed the first two parts of the story, The Best Christmas Present in the World. And we ended in the last video with the letter Jim McPherson had written to Connie. Okay, so in the letter, while he was signing off, he assured Connie that he would be meeting her in the next Christmas, sure. Okay, so he ends up his letter like this: Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and a terrible memory. It will be a distant one because it becomes the past. It would be a time long ago, right? It would turn out to be a memory. What type of memory? A terrible memory. Why it's a terrible memory? Nobody loves war, and both the armies wanted peace with each other and want to go back to their own home. But this war kills lives and destroys resources. Okay, so in all the ways, wars are very unpleasant and sad, destructive. So wars will become a terrible memory by this year, next year, by Christmas Eve. So I'll be reaching you and I'll be uniting with you. That is what the promise that Jim McPherson is giving to his wife Connie while he is concluding or signing off the letter. I know from all that happened today that what was that happened today? The football match between the Fritz and the Thomas. Okay, how much armies long for peace, how much we all love for peace. So I'm sure that as a soldier, he thinks that the war will not go so longer. It will get settled very faster because both the armies like to get into peace treaty. Okay, so we shall be together again soon. What a wonderful thing that is. We shall be together again soon. So everybody lives with the hope. Okay, if people don't have the hope, they cannot live on. A little bit of hope, a ray of hope, a silver line of hope, a sparkle of hope is there in everybody's heart and mind that makes us move on in all the problems and atrocities. Rather, we should ever be hopeful. Whatever bad things happen or atrocities take us over, don't care. We have to think intelligently, and there should always be a hope that better things will come back. Okay, so we have to strive for the better things than thinking over the bad things which are happening. For example, this coronavirus period. Does the world end with this? No. Our hope and intelligent actions will always take us along, and we will find the better tomorrow. All right, so just like that, Jim McPherson was assuring or reassuring his wife Connie about his homecoming next year, Christmas, and how nice that would be. Okay, that is what we have seen in the previous video. So today we discuss what the narrator has done after learning about Connie and her conditions. All right. So, or he has decided to go in search of Connie and hand over the letter, right? Like any other gentleman, we would do the same. Okay, what a thing belongs to somebody should go to that person only. Okay, we have no right to possess anybody's belongings, right? Even though the writer has done a mistake of intruding into or finding out somebody's letter and opening it up and reading, that is really bad. But what he's going to do now for the honor will compensate his guilty feeling, right? So he is going to give the right thing to the right owner. So let's go ahead. Are you ready? Hope you're enjoying with this video lessons. Let's read along, and I hope you all have the lesson in front of you and you have taken that part of the lesson that we are going to read. Part 3. Okay, I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. Okay, so he's very careful because it's a very precious belonging of a particular person called Connie. So we have to treasure it till it reaches the owner, right? So I told no one about my find. My find means my finding. Here means what I found out. What is his find? The letter. Okay, the letter of Jim McPherson with a superscription by Connie, Jim's last letter to be buried when the time comes, right? So that letter. So I told no one about my find, but kept my shameful intrusion to myself. What is a shameful intrusion? Intrude means get into somebody's property or some places without permission. Okay? So reach or enter somewhere or enter somebody's private space or reach somebody's property or uh, engage ourselves into something which is not really permitted. Okay, so unpermitted entry is called intrusion. Unpermitted entry. You may see several places it has been written on the door or sideways of the wall, no admission without permission, okay, or no entry without permission. That means you cannot be an intruder. You have to get a permission to reach there, okay. So, but what was the intrusion that the narrator has done here? He has opened the secret chamber of the roll-top desk, removed the black tin box, again opened it, and found the private letter of Jim McPherson to Connie, treasurably preserved by Connie there in the hidden secret drawer. It's a personal belonging, so it should not be taken by another person. So that's an intrusion, okay? Unpermitted activity. Why is it shameful? As far as our ethics and morality are concerned, we have no right to get into others' property without their permission. We cannot possess others anything forcibly without permission. So it's a shameful thing. I have done a bad thing. Guilty feeling. All right. So it was this guilt. Guilt means guilty feeling, a feeling of having done a mistake. When will we have a guilty feeling? If you have done a mistake and you never thought about that, you don't ever worry about that, we don't say that we have a guilty feeling. Rather, guilty feeling comes when our conscience says you have done a wrong thing. Okay, so when our morality says, our ethics says, our values says, yeah, I have done a wrong thing. So there's a conflict, there's a feeling I should not have done the wrong thing. I have done it. I have insulted him. I should not have done it. If I had been in his position, I must have felt very much bad. So this is a kind of moral conflict, we say, guilty feeling. Okay, realizing one's own mistake and feeling that what one has done is wrong. Okay, that's a guilty feeling. So what is the first remedy or the first step we have to take when we have that guilty feeling? We have to solve that. Okay, how? If we did a mistake, we have to admit that mistake and we have to say sorry and we have to compensate. Okay, so a person without guilty feeling always will be happy. So we have to think twice or 100,000 times before we do something wrong. We cannot be compelled or forced by others or tempted by others or tempted by anything for that matter and do some mistakes. Okay, it will ruin our life. So let us think ourselves, if I were in that position, how would I feel if I do the same behavior towards the other person? That's very important. We can say this is a touchstone method to correct ourselves. Okay, if we are going to do a mistake, we have to think, if I was in the other person's position, how would I feel when the other person did this mistake to me? That will control us, check us. Okay, so this way we have to develop ourselves. When you are making noise in the class, we have to think, am I disturbing somebody? And if I am studying somebody is disturbing, how would I feel? The same way I should feel for the other. So this will arrest our bad action. Okay, let's go ahead. It was this guilty feeling, I think, that kept me awake all night. I couldn't sleep because I have done a mistake, and now I have to reach out to Connie and hand over this letter, comfort her. Okay, So he decided. I made an excuse in the morning. It was normal morning time. I have to go to church, but I made some excuse. I didn't want to tell my family about what I have done and what I'm going to do, etc. So I made a fine excuse that I was not interested to go to church that day, and I had some other work like that. I pretended, and I drove into Bridport, okay, another part of the town, okay, Bridport, just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog. A boy was walking dog at that area. I asked him where Copper Beaches was. Number 12 Copper Beaches, the building turned out to be very near. Okay. And what do you mean by walk the dog? You know, walk the talk, talk, interview, or talking with somebody else, walking along. Say, walk the talk is a TV program, or we can say a featured program which is there on NDTV. Quite often, some important person or VIP will be interviewed walking along such kind of a session. We can say walk the talk, right? So here. When he reached the number 12 Copper Beaches, he was so much shocked. Could he see a good house there as he imagined? Not at all. What was the condition of the house? It was a burned out shell. It appeared like a burned out house, okay? Broken, burned out like that. Right. So what was the condition? It was a burned out shell. The roof was gaping, means the roof was broken. It was opened up to the sky, and there's no roof as such. Broken one, half burned, okay, destroyed. So gape means keep the mouth open and sit in wonder or shock or something like that. Like kind of thing. Okay, gaping. Gaping wound means an opened up wound, unhealed wound. Okay, so gaping. So the roof was gaping, the windows boarded up, windows, all planks and all came out like that, okay, boarded up or completely shut with a kind of planks over there, okay, there is no window as such, boarded up. I knocked at the door, the next door, and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson. Now I inquired where Mrs. Macpherson was. What do you mean by whereabouts? Where about where means details of the person, where that person is, what is the condition of that person, etc. Details about that person. Okay, where is your whereabouts? Tell me something about your whereabouts. Where do you come from? What is your condition? Okay, what is your status, etc. Some details about that person. That is called whereabouts. You see how we write the word whereabouts. Whereabouts are not two words, it's a single word. Okay, whereabout, not whereabout. It will be written as whereabouts. Whereabouts. Okay, so be careful about when you're using the word whereabouts. Just like therefore, THEREFORE, all coming together, right? Therefore. And always when therefore comes, there'll be a comma after that. Therefore, comma. Therefore, comma. Okay. So, whereabouts is a single word. All right, of Mrs. Macpherson. Oh, yes, said he. He told me he knew Jim Macpherson. He was wearing a slippers. He was in a normal common dress, house dress. Okay. So he knew her well. A lovely older lady. How did the neighbor describe Connie? That's important. Okay, listen. How the neighbors got on well with her. How did they care her? Or what was the opinion of the neighbor about Connie? Okay, so the neighbor had a great appreciation for Connie. So good neighbors. Okay. So he said she was a lovely old lady, he told me, but a bit of muddle-headed. Muddle-headed means? Muddle-headed? Simply it means confused. Okay, here her thoughts and actions don't go together. So we can say muddle-headed, confused. We don't call such a person mad. They're mentally disturbed. Okay, not mad, right? Don't say mad and all to anybody. They are mentally disturbed. Okay, so madness or the mental disturbances come even to us. Every day it happens to us. Shall we call us mad? It's not. Okay, so mental disturbances come because of some kinds of dissatisfaction or stress or problems in life, etc. And some people will have in a lot amount of all this together that will completely take them over, and they will completely lose the connection with the reality that day, that time. they will go to get into a kind of mental disorder or complete illness. Okay, they will be treated. Right. So, mental disturbances are not illness. These are all part of everybody's life. Okay. If a teacher scolds you so much, or mother scolds you so much, for some time you will have mentally disturbed condition, right? It comes back to you. But here, Connie's mental disorder or disturbances are not due to all this, due to her long wait and old age. Okay, continuously over years she had waited for her husband Jim McPherson. So with only one hope of next Christmas he'll be with me, and I'll celebrate Christmas with him, my darling man. So I will make marzipan for him, his favorite cake, and that'll be great Christmas. So she waited, hoping against hope, all these tens and fifties of years she waited for him. Did he come back? No, he didn't. What must have happened to him? He must have been killed in the war. All right. What was the desire of the soldiers actually? They wanted to end up the war anyway, just like the football match, and because everybody wants to go back to home and live with the father, mother, children, wife, husband, all such kinds of beautiful imaginations and fancies they had. And all the soldiers today in the field also have the same desire, but how many of them are able to come back to be with their children, like your dads and moms are with you yourself, and how much you're enjoying? How many of the soldiers have got this kind of a luck? I should say it's a luck once they go to the field to come back alive and be with their family. They're giving a big sacrifice of their life. Not only their children sacrifice, and they don't have that life with their parents, okay? And the husbands and wives and mothers and grandparents and all sacrifice for our nation. When a soldier goes to the field, it's not simply a man who is going to the field, but all the entire family is going to the field. Rather, we can say that the family is a strong warrior and support for a soldier, nothing else. Okay. So anyway, the neighbor told this lady was little muddle-headed, confused-headed, mentally disturbed, mentally disorganized, simply meaning confused. Confused doesn't simply mean like the normal confusion we talk about it, okay? Why is she mentally disturbed or muddle-headed? Because of her old age and her ardent desire, longing for her husband to come back, because she has been waiting unlimited for him. Okay, so let us go ahead. So, oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. He knew her well. A lovely old lady, he told me, a bit muddle-headed, mentally disorganized or confused. Then, okay, so but at her age, she was entitled to be. See how this man is very much considerate. He says, he uttered the word muddle-headed. At the same time, he says, it's all fine. At her age of 101, we can't expect her to be more organized, okay, mentally healthy, right? So it's okay. So how careful, affectionate he is, okay, talking about her. But he tells the reality. She's a little mentally disturbed, but it's natural for this age to be a little mentally disorganized, because her hearing, her eyesight, her mental balance, her thinking, everything will be affected, because she is in her senility. Senile old age. Senility means diseases or illness connected to old age. Okay, so she is affected by her senility, long wait, desire to join her husband, and all these things. All right, the pains of life, the pangs of life, the aches in life. Okay, so 101 years old, she had been in this house when it caught fire. So her house went on fire, caught in fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could well have been candles. It must have spread from candles she used. Why candles? There was electricity. Why didn't she use electricity but candles? Let's see. Okay, so it could be, well, the candles. She used the candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive for her. Does she have any income? She's staying alone. Her husband is in the army. Okay, so she's a poor lady. This tells she's using only candles. This tells that she was very poor. She was living very poor, and only richness that she had was the memories of her husband Jim McPherson and her desire, ardent desire, strong desire, unquenchable desire to see him. So she waited and waited and waited. It's always our hope and our desire to meet something or achieve something in our life, meet somebody in our life, which makes our life keep going. Okay, so for her, it was Jim McPherson, and there was no world for her beyond him. So it made her to wait and wait and wait, and she had no money enough, so she used electricity. So maybe she's pretty old, she could not manage the fire well, and so it must have slipped over and caught on the house, and it got burnt. Okay, how pathetic it is. How beautifully the writer has portrayed the conditions very well. Okay, so now let us move ahead. She had been in his house when it caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could well have been a candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. And the fireman had got got just in time, reached in time. She was in a nursing home now, so she was saved, she told me. And at Burlington House, he told me she is now at a nursing home at Burlington Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of the town. Okay, that was what it happened for Connie. Okay, now let us see how things are coming up in the next part of it. All right. So the writer thought he would go to Burlington. So I found Burlington House Nursing Home easily enough. Easily enough means very easily. Okay, I could do it easily enough means very easily. It was easy enough for me to do that expression. Okay, I could find the place easily enough. It was quite easy for me to find out the place. Okay, there were paper because it was a Christmas time, so the entire building, the nursing home was decorated with the paper chains made out of paper, right? Decoration. So paper chains up in the hallway, and lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angel. Lopsided means not equal, unequal. Okay, an angel is seen pinned up on the top of it, but it is little tilted. The angel figure is little tilted, moved at one side. Okay, sideward, sloped over. That is lopsided. Okay, so with one side lower than the other one, not equal at both the sides. All right, so that is called lopsided. We can talk about ideas also lopsided. Hey, his ideas are lopsided means it is not a good idea. It has some extreme weird idea, strange idea, or it doesn't have an order, it doesn't have a proper thinking into it. So lopsided idea, lopsided vision, lopsided actions. The leader's actions are quite lopsided. It doesn't go symmetrical with the needs. It is completely out of pitch. Okay, so lopsided means with one side lower or smaller than the other. We can simply say lopsided grin. When we grin, one side is up and one side is down. So we can say it's a lopsided. All right, sometimes we will pull our lower lip down to some corner when we are laughing or when we are smiling or expressing some ill feeling, like that kind of thing. All right, so let's go ahead and on Christmas tree on top we can see an angel is pinned up, but it is little asymmetrical, or it means not even. Okay, it's one side is tilted too. All right, so I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. McPherson to bring her a Christmas present. So present during Christmas is something so lovely and great. Okay, you all must have got such memories on Christmas, or when you are celebrating Christmas. The best thing is the Christmas present, the game, the singing, and it's a great, rich memory in our life, and that's why all the celebrations are very important for us. We have a lot of religious celebrations, social gatherings, celebrations, etc. These will teach us great amount of teamwork, great amount of tolerance, great amount of charity, giving, welfare of others, taking care of others, coming together, working together. So these celebrations are amazing. But we have to see that the celebrations are not getting consumerized. We are spending money. Don't take celebrations at the time to spend money and show our richness or flamboyance or suppress others and be very dandy with our money and power or a force or the richness or luxury like that can. No, actually celebrations are made to bring people together, to share the happiness, share the joy, share the kindness, etc. So we have to convert our celebrations into the celebrations of kindness, celebrations of love, celebrations of care, celebrations of togetherness, celebrations of happiness, together, being together, okay? And adding value to others' life is the very essence of celebration, adding value to others' life. How can it be? A hug can add value, a smile at others can add value, help others can add value, invite some poor for a dinner can add value, and help others can add value in any or any other way. Okay, all these will bring in compound interest the undiluted happiness in our life, that we have really done something great, so that will make us live happily. That is the only peace of mind that we will get on the in the world. Not that we wear branded clothes, we have the posh cars, and we have all facilities, houses. These things will not, these materialistic things will not bring us joy, except for a few days, right? We will get bored with that. But the happiness that we get out of our kindness, helping others, it will never end, and it's an unlimited drink of joy. Okay, so kindness is a language that the blind can see and the deaf can hear. Can we make such big sounds of kindness in our life? That's very important. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this man has reached there. He saw the celebrations, the Christmas celebration, the decorations. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing along to Good King Wenceslas, the song here they were singing. The matron of the house, the caretaker or the in charge of the house, had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. At least Connie was deserted all these days. She must be blabbering sometimes about Jim McPherson. So as a person closely watching or taking care of Connie, this matron was very happy realizing a visitor is there for Connie at this Christmas. All right, so the matron had too, and she was very happy enough to see me happy enough. Okay, you see, enough. There's an expression. Okay, so she even offered me a mince pie. Pie, you know, okay? Mince pie is a small round pie or a tart, we can say, containing sweet mince meat. All right, typically eaten at the time of Christmas. Once again, mince meat means is a meat actually. Okay, mince pie is a small round pie or a tart which is made out of a sweet mince meat. Okay, mince small pieces crushed up like kind of thing. Okay, so mince meat. It's a specialty of Christmas. Okay, just like in any celebration, there is some particular kind of dish or dishes or sweet or dessert that we make, right? So she walked me along the door. She walked along with me along the corridor to where Mrs. McPherson was. Okay, Mrs. McPherson is not in with the others, she told me. She's rather confused today, as we thought it best if she had a good rest. Okay, this is Christmas time. Every Christmas time, Mrs. McPherson gets completely worried and she behaves something strange because once again her hope has been broken or disturbed. Now how long? One more year I have to wait for Jim. So this uh, wait has been continuing. Get stuck at every Christmas time. He doesn't come. And again for another year waiting, another year, another year, another year, like that, okay? An endless wait. So she got disturbed that nobody has come. Jim has not come. He had promised me that he would come on Christmas and we would celebrate Christmas together. But what happened to my dearest Jim? Okay, that is what she was thinking about. That's why this matron was telling she's rather confused today, as we thought it would be best if she had a good rest. She's no family, you know. No one visits her. Such a sad condition. Completely lonely. And if you find somebody who is lonely, take time to sit with that person or talk to that person. At least spend some time with them. That is the only great price that you can give for them, or great richness that you have to give for them. Listen to them. You know that they may be speaking rubbish, but listen to them. They need only somebody to listen to them. That's very important for us. What we want is somebody around us when we are in difficulty. At least talk to us. So, you children, when you should be very concerned about others around you, and you should give time for others as well. Maybe you are not going to lose anything, but that person is going to get a lot of hope to live on because of your 5 minutes time. Time is very precious for not only for us but for others as well. Okay, children, let's go ahead. So that was condition, and the narrator is now going to meet Connie. Okay, so I'm sure she will be very happy to please. She'll be very pleased to see you. She took me into the conservatory, okay, not conservatory, conservatory. Conservatory is a room where normally the greenhouse or the hothouse where the plants are kept for the time being for them to sprout, or the initial take care of place, okay, for the plants. And here it will be a little warmer place, right? So greenhouse, we can say, or the hot place we can say, okay, or the glass house we can say, or the summer house we can say, in all these ways, okay. But here it stands for, it's called winter time, Christmas time. So she must have been kept in a warmer room, okay, a better room where she can be taken better care about. So that is what the only meaning of conservatory here, okay. So she has been in the conservatory with a wicker chair and a potted plants all around, and she left me, okay. So in the conservatory there are wicker chairs and potted plants, you know very well. And what's a wicker chair? Wicker chair is a particular type of wood which is pliable, which is easily mendable, okay, or it is bending like, okay, it's very flexible to bend and tie and twist and make some shapes of furniture, etc. So like we can say willow trees branches are very supple, very flexible. They can be twisted into shapes, and we can make different artifacts based on that, even furniture, okay. So such kind of a chair or a table or furniture made of such flexible branches of the trees can be called a wicker, okay. So here another thing, bamboo table, you know, bamboos are twisted and made into, or chairs, okay. So, or the hammock, all these things we make of such kind of things are made out of the supple branches or the stem of a tree or plants. Mainly the furniture or artifacts, they're called wickers, okay. So the wicker chair here, bamboo chair type of thing, okay. So now the meeting with Jim McPherson. The old lady was sitting in the wheelchair, her hands are folded in her lap. You can imagine the position, even you can draw that as well, okay. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun, you know, I don't need to tell about, okay. She was gazing, just looking straight at some distant place, okay. She may be looking at the doorway waiting for Jim. Okay, she was gazing out at the garden. Hello, I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. Vacantly means without any feeling. Okay, without any feeling, without any expression in her eyes. She looked at me. Okay, so vacantly. Then I said her, Happy Christmas, Connie. I called her Connie. Okay, Happy Christmas, Connie. I went on. I continued. I found this. I think it's yours. It's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. She must have been searching whether this was Jim. She must have got a faint memory about her husband now. She is 101-year old, so her memory may be, she may have some sort of amnesia, loss of memory. So she was trying to make herself feel whether it was Jim McPherson, her husband. Okay, so her eyes lit up with I opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up, lit up, radiant with the recognition. Oh my God, this is my Jim. So she behaved like that as if she all of a sudden recognized. She was confused and she took the author to be her husband because she has been waiting for him, and her face became confused with a sudden glow of happiness, shine of happiness. I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. I told her everything because I did a mistake. I have a guilty feeling that I took her letter and read it. So I explained. I told the truth. I submitted my mistake to her. I accepted. I confessed to her. Okay, what happened? I explained about the desk, about how I had found it. But I don't think she was listening. For a while, she said nothing but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. Okay, so now let us see what happened. So it's a kind of, so you can imagine how picturesque, how much visual this thing is. Okay, so that is what when we try to learn about characterization or try to learn about the setting of the story, how visual it must be. Okay, suddenly she reached out and took my hand. She, as if in a spark of a moment, she realized, oh, is it my Jim McPherson? Her eyes were filled with tears of joy. At last, after long, long years of wait, she could get her husband back. You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest, she said. You promised me you would come by Christmas, dearest. And here you are. Yeah, you kept your promise, okay? So this is the best Christmas present I can ever get in the world. I have got my husband back. When we read it, rather we feel very sad, right? So, and here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, dear Jim. Sit down with me. How long I had been waiting for you. It was a really terrible time, but the only hope about meeting you again made me going. Okay. I sat down beside her, at the side of her, and she kissed my cheek. I read your letter so often, Jim. Every day I read your letter. That shows her passion, her desire, her love for him. And waited and waited and waited. Can you imagine if she didn't have this letter, what would have come of her? Could she ever wait this longer and live this longer? Okay, this is a token of her, Jim McPherson's love for her. This is a thing that made her go on. It always made me feel you were with me, and now you are. Now I don't worry. And now you are back for, you can read it to me by yourself. Your letter, I would like to listen to your letter once again. Can you, Jim, please read it to me? Okay. Would you do that for me, Jim? Can you just do that favor for me, Jim, dear? I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that so much. And then perhaps we will have some tea. I've made you a nice Christmas cake. She has gone muddle-headed. Okay. I've made you a nice Christmas cake, Jim, you always love that. And you remember marzipan, the Christmas cake? Okay, that you love very much. Okay. And with the marzipan all around it, with the coating of what, rich almond sugar and egg. Okay, all around the cake, how nice it would be. You would love that, right? I know how much you love marzipan. Okay, so I don't explain this part. You should visualize the situation, and you should understand the feeling of Connie waiting for him, and last meeting him, somebody else comes to meet her, and she confuses and she hallucinates him to be her husband. So that shows the complete bond of love and tie and desire, and that the feeling of togetherness. I can't just explain it. You should feel it, that it will be in your memory forever. Okay, this is a beautiful characterization of the story. I think you could get the story today, and I hope you loved it as well. So children, now in the next class we will discuss the question answers, the grammar areas, etc. Hope you enjoyed it well, and if you have further suggestions to make the video better for you, please do that. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button, and if you like to subscribe to my channel so that you would get the new ones I create, please do that. Stay safe, stay blessed, take care, bye bye.